The Rhode Island State House we take you because that's where some leaders are calling for a ban to end the sale of assault-style weapons in the state.
It has been tried before and failed.
Patrice and Dan, the governor tells me that after years of multiple failed attempts, he believes that this is finally the year. But the Senate Minority Leader, she tells me that she believes he's acting outside of the law.
Rhode Island Democrats are pushing through an assault weapons ban in complete disregard for Heller and Berman. Welcome to another installment of Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms for NRA certification of multifaceted gun trading. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. If you like channel, like content, what I do here, you can support me with the link. Everything is appreciated. Let you know that the merchandise is available. It's another way to support the channel. We can get some really cool gear. You can see the image here. Got the t-shirts, got the pullovers. I will leave a link to the video to let you know how you can purchase. Let's talk about this. And another Democrat state has jumped into the bandwagon of pushing through an assault weapons ban in complete disregard for Supreme Court precedents. Rhode Island, the tiny state of Rhode Island, is now pushing through assault weapons ban, mostly because, like other states that are pushing through, they have the Democrat majority and they know they can get away with it, even though they're going to lose in court. But once again, they don't care about that because they spend your money to defend themselves.
He called for a ban on semi-automatic weapons, coming from the governor's desk again.
I think this is the year that it'll happen.
Anti-gun violence advocates, along with local leaders, filing into the State House this evening. Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee proposing a ban to prohibit the sale, manufacturing, and possession of assault-style weapons, such as semi-automatic shotguns, rifles, and pistols. If this bill passes, what happens to people that already have assault weapons?
So if you have them, you can keep them. You have to register them within a year.
Earlier versions of the bill specified that people who already had the guns must register them with their local police department. But state law says government firearm registration is prohibited. We reached out to the governor's office for clarification. So then there would still be assault weapons on the street, so how's this a ban?
Well, the ban is on future sales and manufacturing of assault weapons.
This isn't McKee's first crack at banning semi-automatic weapons in the state. But this time around, the governor included the ban in his state budget set to be announced this week. What's the significance of you putting it in the budget?
Well, I think that it made it very clear. You know, I think that actions speak louder than words.
I'm not sure why he would put it in budget. It's actually not in his purview to do so. He's in the executive branch. He doesn't legislate. He's not a senator or a rep.
Senator Jessica De La Cruz is the Senate Minority Leader. She says she's strongly against McKee's ban on semi-automatic weapons, reiterating that the state does not have a firearm registry.
And that's not constitutional. It's not legal.
We want to just make sure we're protecting Rhode Island.
And now, for this bill to successfully become law, it needs to successfully make its way through the General Assembly. And if passed, Rhode Island would become the 11th state to successfully ban assault-style weapons.
Let me come into here. Rhode Island Democrats poised to push through assault weapons ban. Okay? Anti-gun Democrats in the Rhode Island General Assembly, reportedly led by Governor Dan McKee, they're poised to pass a sweeping ban on so-called assault weapons while the tiny state's gun owners are girding for a battle. It looks like the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms is coming on board with this in a grassroots fight. But the bill is H5436, which targets every single magazine-fed rifle out there, with the exceptions of 22s. Now, I'm going to just jump into this real quick. What is very interesting is in this bill, they have assault weapons means a semi-automatic shotgun that has at least one of the following: a fixed magazine capacity exceeding 6 rounds. So that's something new, because the rest of this bill is just a cookie cutter of all the assault weapon bans out there. But they seem to have added that little extra language in there, which I find interesting. But now, of course, right away, this is a violation of Heller and Bruin. And they know this. They know this, but once again, they don't care because they are not bound by the courts unless the courts rule in their favor. They don't care what the courts say unless they can get something out of it. And that's the way they've always played themselves. You can go back to Biden when the Supreme Court told Biden you can't do student loan forgiveness. He did it anyway. The Supreme Court told him you can't do a moratorium on rent. You can't extend it. He did it anyway. Democrats don't follow the courts unless the courts do what they want. But WJAR quoted Republican Senate Minority Leader Jessica Dela Cruz, who said, "That's not constitutional, it's not legal." Of course it isn't. But language in the bill allows for people to retain their currently owned semi-autos if the person registers the assault weapon with the police department in the city or town where the person resides, or if there is no such police department or the person resides out of state with the Rhode Island State Police in accordance with provisions of this chapter. But I'm going to come down to here. The Providence Journal is reporting the legislation, if passed, will make it illegal to manufacture, sell, offer, or to sell, transfer, purchase, possess an assault weapons except under limited circumstances. The penalty for a violation will be 10 years in prison, a fine up to $10,000, and forfeiture of the weapon, the newspaper said. The Journal quoted State Rep Jason Knight claiming, "The pendulum has swung." Further, the newspaper said, Senate President Dominic Ruggerio is no longer an avowed opponent, and those fighting the passage are in the extreme minority in the state. But those in the minority still have rights, and according to CCRKBA Chairman Alan Gottlieb, H5436 will trample those rights. When Rhode Island Attorney General Peter Norona declares in a prepared statement there is no need for a private citizen to own a certain type of firearm, Gottlieb commented in a prepared statement, "One has to wonder who put him in charge of determining someone else's needs." Ding ding. Besides, the Second Amendment is not about anyone's needs, it's about rights. It is actually the cornerstone of the Bill of Rights. Exactly. When an individual comes out and says, "Well, I don't think you should be allowed to own this," well, it's not about you. It's about we the people. We are the people. So that kind of arrogance of saying what someone can and cannot have, especially when it pertains to rights, it's just a disgusting language. But this is the interesting part. When I read through this, there was a person who was there at this Rhode Island little presser. The proponents of the bill all gathered together as they usually do to say how this is going to save lives and make society safer, and it never does. But there was a person there. Her name was Mia Tretta, who was wounded at a California school shooting. And she said, when she jumped on board, saying that she was shocked that Rhode Island didn't have an assault weapons ban. Now here's the problem. The event that happened at her school in California, the person used a .45 caliber handgun. She's not advocating for a ban on handguns. She's advocating for a ban on something that had nothing to do with the incident that she was involved with. Like I said, the slow roll. This is where it begins, and it keeps going from there. Now, you can see the whole bill. I'll leave a link to it. But like I said, it's pretty much cookie cutter, what everyone else is doing. But it seems to me, looking at what's going on in the gun community since the election, is that the Democrats are rushing to cover themselves because they know what's coming. They know the Supreme Court is going to say, this is unconstitutional, you can't have an assault weapons ban or magazine ban. And states that don't have one are stretching it out. Because everybody knows that when a case comes in, the case only involves the people who brought it. So let's say Illinois' assault weapon ban goes before the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says, this is unconstitutional, we're striking it down. All the other states that have assault weapons ban, it has no effect on them. So they got to wait for their case to come before the court, for the court to say the same thing all over again, because these states will never back down. I doubt there's going to be any state that's going to go, based on the ruling of the Supreme Court, we're going to drop this. No. They're going to say, no, we're going to double down. I expect some states to make even more laws if the Supreme Court strikes down an assault weapons ban. So we best prepare ourselves for that. For the anti-gun groups, this is the long game. And it's a long game they've been playing for a good 50 years now. So we have to be aware of that. But reach out to the Rhode Island gun owners, step up. Step up, make as much noise as you possibly can. I understand you're in the minority because, you know, Democrat-run bastions are so badly run that conservatives tend to leave. That happens all the time. But this is a real threat to your freedom, to your rights. So there it is. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.